Hey, so I finally get the chance to share this amazing build with you guys, which I'm extremely excited about. Been working on this build for a while now, in terms of gearing it and that. I accidentally deleted the 200 Divine ring, which I'll insert the clip here so you can see that happening. I DC'd with it on the cursor, because my internet was like playing up, and then I somehow deleted it, so you can. I still don't really know how that happened, but yeah, fun. Got a new ring, which is like slightly better, yeah, anyway, better synthesis, but worse craft on it because I just got sick of trying to like craft the ring, so it doesn't matter. This is what the bare bones of it anyway. But yeah, this build is a double strike of momentum trauma stacker. It is a Juggernaut, and it gets a lot of regen by just stacking a whole bunch of trauma and doing damage to yourself, and then using the ascendancy, this one here, to regenerate the damage that you do to yourself as life per second, and also energy shield per second as well. So it generates like tens of thousands of energy shield and life per second when it's even at like a low amount of stats. So what that does is while you're doing damage to people and up to 10 seconds after, well, depending on how much damage you're doing, you're basically immune to dots because you're regenerating so much that the dots don't matter. Also, you have a whole bunch of endurance charges. This is an endurance charge stacker too. It has 13 of those. So with with Unrelenting, you get additional damage reduction from that too. So because you get so much damage reduction from endurance charges, you take a lot less damage from everything that isn't chaos damage anyway. So yeah, extremely tanky, and it does a lot of damage. At max trauma, it will do something around a single target. You can do up to 300 million DPS if you're berserking, 230 if you're not, I think. If you don't quite get to max trauma, like if you get halfway, which is pretty easy to do, you'll be doing somewhere around like 100 million DPS, which is huge. Yeah, pretty quick build. I've slowed it down a bit because I got Nature's guys. Nature's Patience, sorry. Yeah, Nature's Affinity, Natural Affinity Jewel, which gives you this, which boosts your damage and your tankiness. You have a pretty. This is the tree here, as you can see. It's pretty basic, really. I guess just has a few jewels in it, does some tricky things. So big amount of damage is getting this physical light of meaning here, and in conjunction with this unnatural instinct, which allocates all these unallocated nodes here. This gives probably about half your damage almost, this one here. And now I get a Glorious Vanity, sacrifice in the name of Doriani to get the Corrupted Soul, just to give me some energy shield so that I can regen, which is like a huge HP boost. And then I use this Thread of Hope here to allocate to get a good some good rolls on the Glorious Vanity. This particular Glorious Vanity gives me 3 of these additional physical damage reduction nodes, which is really, really good for this build. Because this build has stacked so much physical damage reduction, each little bit of extra physical damage reduction just does a lot. Like each one of these nodes now gives me something like 25% reduced damage, physical damage taken, just because of how high it is now. Yeah, apart from that, pretty normal tree. I just get a whole bunch of these nodes that I can reach here. Just a Costa Jewel that gives me Martial Prowess and some mono each for the sustain. Get a non-valve strike skills target one additional nearby enemy with this mastery here. It's berserking mastery. Yep. Get max suppression. Yeah, nothing too major apart from that. With gearing, the big thing is the staff. I won't be switching to this build until I craft this staff. Now this staff took me something like in the area of 300 to 400 divines to craft. I crafted it myself using recombinators, and it was painful. It was, not gonna sugarcoat it, it was pretty painful. But yeah, I'll craft one of these stars in the new league, and then I'll put a video up on how to do it, because it is a little bit complicated, and there are different ways to do it. Don't want to get too much into it right now because I'll talk forever about it, but yeah, it's got there in the end. The rest of the stuff is actually they're all uniques, right? So these worm scale gauntlets give you basically permanent adrenaline and permanent onslaught, which is great because you attack so quick. This build attacks at like 16 attacks a sec. Mic check, mic check. So this build attacks at like 16 attacks per second. So you get to maximum stacks on your double strike of momentum. So it starts at 1 and you go up to 10. You get to that within like, I think it's 1.2 seconds or something. And then from then on you're attacking at 16 per second. So you can sort of, you can use that like with like chance to gain a fast charge when you deal a critical strike. So you just attack so fast you get a whole bunch of charges, things like that. Helm is just a suppression with a couple of mana reservation and some life and some dex. Yeah. This is body armor, which is just my same as my boneshatter body armor. It is my boneshatter body armor. It's just I brought it over and changed the colors pretty much. Yep. Boots, Relicash with maximum endurance charge enchant. That's expensive to get. So just the normal Relicash is fine until you can get the maximum endurance charge one. Arn's Anguish. It can just be a basic Arn's Anguish. Doesn't have to be corrupted. These are pretty cheap as well, even though good corrupts. This particular corrupt is okay, like increased maximum life is good, but most people probably prefer some damage. But I did think that this build has enough damage. Life is more useful in my situation. And Ashes of the Stars, this is because double strike of momentum. You can see it has a quality effect there, where it's 4% more attack speed for each stage. So when you add the quality to it, it gives you just a whole bunch more attack speed. So Ashes is an amazing amulet for this. Now Ring we've gone over before. Ring is basically just crit multi, alley res. It needs to be all res as well, and chaos resistance, and then just a big life roll on it. And the non-challenge schools have -8 to total mana cost as well. Ideally, I'd put a Veiled Orb on it. I'd lock suffixes, and then put a Veiled Orb on it, and hopefully it won't hit the life, and then unveil another mana mod. Ideally, reduced mana cost, and if not reduced mana cost, then mana recoup could be good. Yeah, that's all my gear. I'll show a map. It looks like one does a map. And then I'll also show doing an Uber. Do some harpies. Have I got the right? Okay. So harbingers are actually pretty good on this build because you have to stand around to do harbingers anyway. you know, works out. But yeah, it's does quite a bit of damage, even though at the moment, I got the double echo shrine, so it's going to be why. Looks really good at the moment. This staff does have the what's it called, the rune enchant that gives you a shrine buff every 10 seconds, which pretty much means that you always have at least one shrine buffs, and sometimes you have 2 shrine buffs. I think it's like half and half pretty much. Yeah, just stand here and hit things, then it dies pretty quick. Doesn't really kill you because you're so tanky. This build can tank Sirus Meteor. It can, if you tweak it and put some like basically take off the suppression and put life on it. It can tank Maven's memory game as well. The reason you take off the suppression is because memory game ignores suppression. You can put your tincture on for ages. I just turned mine off, but if I put it on now, you can see how much trauma I'm stacking there too. Sitting at around 100 at the moment. Basically, the stronger an opponent is, the stronger you get. So it's really good. Like Soul Eater guys just like start out tanky and then you just end up melting them. So you actually look forward to them, you know. Yeah, the more damage you take, the more you hit people, the more you heal. So it's kind of like you have to be offensive to have good defenses too. It's almost done. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of this build. I got the idea when Visnus did his gauntlet run, and I started like being like, man, that was pretty cool defensive layers, you know. And then I had a look at some of the ways that people are scaling crit boneshatter now, and kind of implemented a few of those different ways into the build. Oh, the tincture, by the way, I didn't really talk about the tincture, but the tincture is like a massive amount of damage. It's like double your damage. If you turn on your tincture, you do double damage basically. So you get blitz charges as well because you have the get those flesh and flames for the blitz. Well, if you want to be tankier, you can get the max res ones as well. Achieve the max res. Yeah, but I mean, you don't really need to be that much tankier. Sweet, so that's what a map looks like. Now I will show you an Uber. So what I do is I have Awaken Melee Splash usually in, and for single target stuff I'll just chuck an Impale. That does a massive amount of damage. Now change the Pantheons to be relevant. No. Okay. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Ah, yeah. Okay, so that's another thing too. I'm gonna probably do it for this one, but if you're doing like Ubers like Sirus or Maven that take a while, they have different phases. You can unallocate this node here, these nodes here, and get the these tinctures for Nature's Concoction, because you pretty much always have your tincture running when you're fighting these guys, like while they're in the phase, while they're out of while they're not phasing. And you get this wheel here, you get around this side, and you get flask adjacent to tinctures gain 2 charges when you hit an enemy with a melee weapon. which makes you get pretty much unlimited Progenesis plus one other flask worth of charges. So that's it's pretty good. Actually, I'll do it right now just to show you what I mean. So I'll take that, probably grab some life, grab my rage. Increased effect. That's that there. Going Topias Flask in because Eater does lightning damage. We'll go and smoke him. Oh, I forgot to turn my tanks wrong. Oops. Okay. Oh, I just turned my tincture back off again. Whoopsies. Ah, there we go. I made that look harder than it's. Oh, I probably should have turned this into blood as well instead of sand, but whatever. Made it look harder than it should have been. But yeah, that's Uber Eater. And a thing with the staff as well is that it looks a bit weird because it's got socket of gems are supported by a level 10 endurance charge on melee stun. Now if we go have a look at what endurance charge on melee stun looks like, this here, you see it's 4% more damage per endurance charge. That's at level 1, I don't know what it is at level 10. And because you always have 13 endurance charges, because even though your endurance charges are converted into brutal charges, which give you more damage, you always do have max endurance charges because of these Relic-ish boots anyway. So it'll be 13, let's say it is 4%, I don't know if it's 5% or whatever. Let's say it's 4%. Having 13 endurance charges means it's like 52% more damage per endurance charge. No, yeah, 52, well, not per endurance, altogether. So it's pretty huge. So yeah, I'm just going to end this video by going over what my plans are for the Settlers 2.0 League. Also, I'll put some raw footage of the build in action against various things at the end of the video as well. So if you're still curious about what it looks like in action, you can see those. Just be aware that the videos at the end, they're not with the build at the level it is right now, even though right now it isn't min-maxed either. So yeah, actually let's talk about min-maxing for a bit. You can get double corrupts on this belt that are useful, so it could get crit multiplier plus something else, or attack speed while flask is happening. Attack speed is good, and maximum frenzy charges is good too, but you could get 2 better implicits if possible. Could get a additional curse ashes. You are a bit poor on attributes, so attributes isn't really useful. But there are other ways you can get attributes, and getting a good double corrupted ashes would be massive. Getting another curse would mean probably running Assassin's Mark as well as vulnerability, or even punishment as well as vulnerability. Double corrupt on the boots obviously, so +1 to max endurance charges, and maybe the other corrupt can be something like suppression or movement speed. These these 2 armor pieces are possibly getting changed. You'll know when I release the build guide, but I might go the other way of getting a evasion ES body armor rather than the armor evasion. I'll be losing the additional physical damage reduction but gaining a lot of energy shield. So I'll do the work in PoE, and whatever I release will be the best version. With that in mind. Staff is just instead of getting critical strike chance put on there, get the higher attack speed roll rather than having the crafted one, and then crafting on the critical strike chance. The reason I went for the crafted attack speed is because of the stats, getting the extra dexterity and intelligence. But probably can take off a resist off here if I get better other items, or not. Could possibly take the resist off the body armor and get it on a tree and then get stats on the body armor. But yeah, that's all a problem for the future for min-maxing. Ring, obviously it could have triple simplicits, and then the rest of the craft is pretty alright. Obviously those are crap tiers, but I've already been over what I'll do with the ring anyway. But yeah, cool. Yeah, that's it for min-maxing. But yeah, so the plan for the league is get through the maps with a boneshatter build, just a normal boneshatter Jugg. Then I'll do blights and expeditions. Basically just because of the raw currency you get out of those is really good. I don't do Chaos Recipe just because I don't enjoy it. So there's every reason to do it. It is great to do. I definitely recommend doing it for everyone else. But if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. And I don't do it. I don't enjoy it. So I don't do Chaos Recipe, which makes me poor on league starts. Don't know, could be. Then I'll just aim to complete my atlas pretty much, just after I'm done with maps. Get watchstones. Then I'll sit in Defiled Cathedral for ages until I get the Seer, scry it to City Square, and then I'll do Harbies in City Square, and then I'll build up items to go this build. I'm going to stop getting gear for boneshatter at like level 90 or so, and I'll be switching to this build whenever I can craft the staff, pretty much, which I'm assuming will be around when I get to like level 95 or so. Don't really want to switch over to the trauma stacker until you have a lot of endurance charges, and the staff gives you 2 of them, so probably at least 10 endurance charges, if not 11. Actually, probably more like 11, because each endurance charge just makes a massive difference to the self damage you take with the trauma stacking. But yeah, that's my plan for the league. Let's go over the PoB quickly. So I wanted to quickly go over the PoB for the build. That's what it currently looks like. I've already gone over it in game, don't really need to go too much more over it. But yeah, it's pretty nifty. There's definitely a lot of things I could make better. Definitely, if I can get some more accuracy on gear, I could possibly drop these nodes. These are good for stats too, though, so it's a job for min-maxing sometime. This isn't like, so you can see it's got 220 DPS. It's with Impale on, so it's single target DPS. But if you have like a Berserk on, there's Berserk. It does 260 DPS with Berserk on. And yeah, Mortal Call as well, so this is the EHP here. With a Mortal Call on, it goes pretty crazy. And actually, a really cool thing about the build is that because you stack so much duration, Mortal Call is actually on for quite a long time. So you can see its uptime is 55%, and because you're on cast and damage taken, which triggers when you do self damage through your trauma. You basically trigger your own immortal call constantly. So you have it on, you have it up at 55% of the time, which is sick. So you have it more on than not in general. This is what I put in here. So this is a pretty like bullshit actual DPS. You can reach it, and I have like multiple times reached the max DPS. But in general, you're not going to, because you're just going to kill things too fast, right? Or you're going to phase it too fast. So you can kind of see in here, it'll tell you how many like what trauma. How does it tell you? I should change it to construct momentum. So how much trauma it can maintain. Sustainable trauma is 128, which is really low. I don't know why it's only 128. Doesn't really make sense. Be a lot higher than that, it's about 300 or something. What am I doing wrong? I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to put the skill stages up on there. So I need to make sure it's at 10. See if they'll let me. That's it. Okay. Alright, so sustainable trauma is at 320 now, which makes more sense. But you're pretty rare to reach that unless you're up against like someone super tanky. So I forgot to put these on. So let's say you're at 100 trauma. Yeah, it's still 100 million DPS, and 100 trauma is pretty easy to reach. Like a minimum that you'll be like fighting anything will be 50 trauma pretty much. Still 66 mil DPS. Having like 1 trauma, make it 30 mil DPS. So, it does a lot of damage. The tankier something is, the more damage you do to it. It's pretty cool that way actually. Yeah. Just blank that up. That's pretty much it for the tree. I talked about that. Yep. Okay. That's pretty much the build right there. I'll put a link to the POB down below, and also I'll be streaming this as well, streaming me getting to the build. So if you follow me along, you'll be able to see the progress, and also I'll be uploading like videos of when I craft a piece of item, like a piece of gear for this. You can see how I do it. Oh, actually another thing I didn't really talk about, the Forbidden Flesh and Flames. So this one allocates Blitz, which is this one here. 2% more attack speed per blitz charge and reduced critical strike chance. You've still got 100% pretty much, 99.8% critical strike chance, so that doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, it's basically like a 40, oh there you go there, like a 46% increased damage, which is huge. You can go other ways, you can just go for a tankier way. Like get that one, or you can get like the undeniable, which is but a different way to do damage, and you probably can drop some accuracy and save some skill points as well from the tree, like this stuff. But yeah, that's about. There's different ways to. I also didn't talk about Bloodsoaked Blade, so this is important. Because you have so much life regen, you can sustain like having your tincture on for quite a long time as long as you're hitting something. So that's how you take advantage of that. I've been chilling in maps with 170 stacks on, and it's just been fine as long as I'm hitting something. you can pretty much completely out regen it. If you stop hitting something, then just turn it off. It's 8-second cooldown, it's not too bad. You don't really need it on all the time because you do so much damage without it anyway. Yep, that's the build. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to chuck some clips of the build in action after this, and yeah, good luck in the new league, and like and subscribe if you can, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank